This is Glenn Healy.
Hi, this is Braden Holtby.
This is Daryl Sutter.
Hi, this is Brian Burke.
This is Jordan Tutu.
This is Keith Morrison.
This is Kelly Rudy.
Hi, this is Scott Hartnell.
Hey, everybody. My name is Theo Fleury.
This is Tim McAuliffe of Sportsnet, and you're listening to the Sean Newman Podcast.
Well, is this welcome to QDM Productions or the Sean Newman Podcast?
Thanks for joining us on the podcast today, Sean. Dude, welcome to Tuffnell, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Who rides halfway across province and, I can't even say forgets it. I packed it all up, nice, neat. I was ready to go, got mics, everything ready to go, and the bus breaks down. I have no idea where my equipment is. I have no idea.
Yeah, but here you are. You came to obviously a video production professional here in Saskatchewan,
yeah.
And so I've got I'm starting to show a few of my tricks from what I do here. So I don't know how much I
Lips
like that.
Lips are sealed, buddy. Lips are sealed.
Well, welcome to Tuffnell, man, and to the illustrious Tuffnell curling rink. I see. At some point in time, it did say players on those scoreboards in the back, but they must have taken it off. Cancel culture must have got a hold of them or something. But
I feel like if these walls could talk, they would tell some stories. Am I wrong?
I'm glad they can't, actually. Yeah, they're actually. We wouldn't want these walls doing anything. They've been here for quite some time. There's probably a little bit of mold underneath the plastic.
Well, first off, I gotta say it's nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you too, man.
You know, it's been. Everyone's got to forgive me. I haven't slept in a long time. I didn't sleep last night, so my brain's a little scattered. But friendship is got to be the strangest thing.
It really is,
it's
man.
It's very new age, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think this is where, I guess it's not that I want to talk over it at all, but this is kind of where it's pushed things to, and there's good things that are going to come out of it, and a little bit of this where people kind of interact with each other, when we met on the highway, when I was waiting for you guys in Foam Lake when you guys came rolling through, because I couldn't have you running from Foam Lake to Tuffnell all on your own. And the first thing I said, it's like you just tuck in and start going, and you kind of already know everybody. But the first thing I say to you is, man, you're a lot shorter than I thought you were, and you're like, yeah, well, you're a lot skinnier than I thought you were, and but that's where the world takes us nowadays. You know what I mean? Which is crazy, and it's a good kind of crazy, right?
It's like I said, this is probably the strangest, coolest thing that has happened in my life in a while. Right?
This is also a first for the Tuffnell curling rink. I don't think they've had a podcast done.
And we do have an audience,
Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, the audience is in the bleachers there watching everything that's going on, trying to read lips. I think Rick Sally's in here trying to read lips. But we're sitting in where the house would be. Where I won many kids' Bonspiel as a child. Yeah, many
and
first
where
place
I
trophies.
couldn't throw a rock if I tried. I suck at curling.
Yeah. But it's good. I see they got the gravel leveled out nice here. So, yeah. But, this is just another cool thing about small towns is you're kind of allowed to just go through. You talk to everybody. Hey, can we do a podcast in the curling rink? Everyone's like, why would you want to do a podcast in the curling rink? Sure, you can do a podcast in the curling rink. Everybody's cool with it.
Here's the only question I got for you.
Yeah.
We only solve one question of the day. Here
All
it
right.
is. Okay.
Let's do it.
When you started Quick Dick.
Yeah.
This is what, 3 years, 2.5 years?
About 2 years ago, yeah.
Okay, 2 years ago. Did you ever think you'd have a group of fucking yahoos? Pardon the French, Mom.
Sorry, Mom.
Yeah.
My mom's actually here. You've met.
I've
Mom
now met
the
mysterious. That's right. She's not so mysterious anymore. Did you ever think you'd have a group of people do a bike from Lloyd? Well, not Lloyd. Anywhere to Tuffnell, to Tuffnell, the curling rink, to interview you, to turn around and go back home?
Honestly, man, no. There's been so many things happen. I never even thought I'd ride a pedal bike from Foam Lake to Tuffnell for any reason whatsoever, let alone have a whole group of people doing it with me. But I just caught your guys' shirt tails here and back. You guys are doing the big work, and what you guys have done is incredible, man. And you have raised an insane amount of money for an amazing program. And I just thought, when you came to me with this idea, that you picked the right place to bring it to, because it's not just here in Tuffnell, but it's what a lot of places are about that are just like Tuffnell. And I think we kind of talked a little bit about that earlier. There's 1,000 Tuffnells in Canada, in the world, and what you guys are doing, it it resonates with places like this. And that's why, like, when I was like, hey, I called the ladies from the rec board and I was like, is there any chance we can feed these guys when they get here? But had I not reached out to them and they just found out through somebody that we were here and people didn't get fed, they would have been pissed. But this is what small town people want to do. They're like, what cause? What's going on? I was like, well, it's Bike for Breakfast program, and they're trying to get funds for breakfast programs in schools in the Lloydminster and surrounding area. And you just have people jump on board with a good cause, and that's what it is. And I think that's why you guys have had such good success with what you're doing, is because it's a good cause and it's something people can get behind. And no matter whether it's a pandemic or what's going on, people are going to get behind it and support it because it's what good humans do. And we find a lot of it in towns just like Tuffnell, just like Lloydminster, just like everywhere. Hillmond, right? This is the kind of thing that's going to do awesome with people in Hillmond. People from Hillmond and Tuffnell, I'm sure, can sit down and have a beer, and we're proof of that right now. You know what I mean?
It is. Two hamlets of Saskatchewan sitting down like, geez, Louise, you wouldn't have said that 10 years ago.
Right.
One of the cool things that we've done on it is every cent, minus GoFundMe, which we will rectify in year 2, goes into it. There's not a hidden fee, not like it's something. I can't speak highly. Neki isn't. You can't see us, but Neki Jamal, a dentist in Lloyd, one of the first guys I approached with it. We were pretty adamant on that. Like, don't want any of it to go to XYZ.
Yeah.
You just want everything to be. I mean, it's you want everything all the time to be donated, but when it comes to this, you're like, listen, you want to hop on board with this?
Yeah.
We don't want to have hidden fees and everything else. We want the number to be the number.
And that's and that's where, like, GoFundMe's a cool thing. I think the fact that the Lloydminster Kinsmen have been handling a lot of your guys' stuff for them is like I did a Kinsman Chase the Ace draw here the other night with the Saskatchewan Kinsman Foundation, and they're such a fantastic group. That's why I'm always such a big advocate of Telemiracle and what they do. They help kids, they help disabled people, they help, and it's a group of great volunteers. GoFundMe, I get they're going to take a little bit of a cut, and they got a platform they got to run, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm the biggest fan of GoFundMe, but it does get funding to the hands of people that need it, so you kind of got to support something like that, right?
The way we looked at it, and this is what GoFundMe does well, they allow an upstart to just be like, listen, we're going to put it on their plate. They're going to take a little bit of a cut, which isn't crazy, but it is enough. Yeah. It hurts, but it isn't like anything. It isn't like 50% or something weird. Like, just enough of a little trickle. But we didn't have to do anything. We literally had to put a couple things in, and boom, it's set up. And that's where everything funnels through, and they take care of it. Yeah. And you can hate on that a lot, but overall, if you use it for 10 years, that's your problem. Because
that's right.
They've built something that, helped us out of the bind. I didn't need to worry about a thing.
It works.
Done.
It works and it helps people. I mean, even
but
if
year
you look
two,
at,
we're going to try and get away from it because we want everything to come. We don't want 99.2%. We want 100%.
And that's another really cool thing. I'm sure everybody that's listening knows, what you guys have done and what you do. But I mean, I think the coolest thing that I loved about your guys' idea is that this is done in the form of food, which is what it is supposed to be. And this is being paid out in food, and it is going into kids' bellies. And that's, I just can't say enough good about that, because there's a lot of foundations. I'm not going to name any of them because I'm not here to hate on foundations or charities, but there's a lot of them that there's a lot of red tape through, that a lot of CEOs and organizers and whatnot take a paycheck out of what they're doing, and what you guys are doing, nobody's taking a paycheck out of.
You think they feel guilty about that?
Maybe. And I mean, some of them will be like, well, someone has to run the charity, and I mean, you can't volunteer your entire life away, and there's parts of that I get. I mean, that might be one of the grayest areas you'd ever have a conversation with me about, because I get both sides of it. It's like, it's a lot of work to do this stuff, and even like when I try and,
but there's no bigger reward in life than I'm not saying you got to volunteer 365, but this certainly doesn't feel like work, right? Like, it just doesn't. This is a lot of fun.
Sean, you told me at 4:00 this morning when your guys' bus broke down in Saskatoon if this felt a little bit like work or not.
I would say this: at 4 a.m. temperatures rose because you have stress.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're putting the cooker, so to speak, right? Yeah. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Are we quitting? Are we not doing this? Are we doing that? Are we renting this? Are we going over here? Yeah. And it's like, you got to figure a way through it. Here we are. Yeah. We found a way through it.
Absolutely, you did.
That's life. Is that not life?
That is absolutely life.
Like, I mean, it doesn't happen like that every single day, but when it comes, I mean, you got to find a way through. Yeah. It still doesn't feel like work. Yeah. Like, I mean, I get to... Nigel Dubé, said something that I thought was really cool. As the three of us were riding, right? So we got the bus breaks down, and that sucks.
Yeah.
Now there's three of us in a pilot truck, and we're off Galvan, and we're like, well, do we go back? Do we keep riding? What do we do? And after about the second hour, I'm sitting there, and I don't know what I said. I said, oh, man, legs hurt or something. And he goes, you know, the whole thing about this is we're raising money for kids who don't have food.
Yeah.
I bet you they'd take our situation in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Because I just stuffed my face full of whatever. Actually, I know exactly what
It was a Haggard sandwich from the side
No,
of the
it was Miss Vicky's chips because we had nothing else. We had think about this.
If
We're in a pilot truck.
If Miss Vicky's listening, I love her, just so she knows.
She's fantastic. We had Miss Vicky's like a half sack of like little potato chips that didn't last long. We had a few oranges. We had Nutter Butter bars. We had a little bit of water, and we had nibs.
Yeah.
That's what we had.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, by like hour 5, it was all gone. I'm like, we got to start rationing the water, okay? Stop it. Stop drinking that much. We can't do it. Here we are. But, I mean, I don't know. You go back to it, he says, any kid who, is struggling for food, we're complaining about getting on a bike for an hour, every 3 hours, they're taking that in a heartbeat. And I was like,
yeah, man.
You're absolutely right. Let's fucking do this. Let's go.
So this might wind up being the strangest podcast that anyone's ever heard us do, but I mean, one thing that I've tried to promote on my channel and anything that I do, and it's in a few of my posts and whatnot. I mean, I'm not always a jackass who's kind of cussing the government and whatnot. I'm a jackass all the time, anyways. But working through problems is a part of life, and I think there's lots of people can work through problems and get through them. Some people will get stuck in problems and let the problem consume them, but life itself is kind of a problem, and you got to get it figured out. And even when you're down on your luck and things aren't going the greatest, the one thing I learned probably the best to do after, and it was post my oil field career, and I'm glad I learned it at the age of 38 versus 48, is that even when you're in a situation where things are absolute and complete shit, you need to find something to be like, hey, you know what? Like, it's shitty right now, but it just kind of is what it is. You know what I mean? And find something that you can laugh at and just keep a positive attitude. Smile about it. But I mean, I have found the funniest thing lately is that when we have an absolute and complete shit show going on the farm, is to actually just like stop for a minute and step out of it and literally force yourself to laugh at it and be like, this is actually a pretty fucked up situation.
So we're riding this morning, right? There's three of us. We're kind of like, I don't know, what do we do? Do we keep going? Do we turn around? What do we do? Anyways, and I'm sitting there with Natalie, and I'm not one to just sit in silence, and so I'm sitting there and I'm trying to break the ice, right? Because, the crazy thing about this trip, is like, minus Ken Rutherford, I would say everybody else is a relatively new acquaintance, which does not happen very often when you're doing something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm sitting beside this lady who is stuck in a situation where she's stressed. I'd be stressed too. We're in the middle of Saskatchewan.
Absolutely.
Our bus is just broke down.
Yeah.
We have minimal supplies. If a flat tire happens, we have nothing to fix it with. Think of all the problems that come.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And so I look over it and I go, well, I just rode for an hour, and I can't feel my my tackle, my twig and berries. It's numb right now. I don't know if that's healthy or not. And she's just like, what? And she just breaks out of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know, it's a terrible situation. Like, what are we going to do, right? And she's laughing like, you're ridiculous. I'm like, I know we are ridiculous. But, like, at the end of the day, the sun's shining. We got a little bit of a tailwind. Let's just bike and see where we get.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Man. And that's just...
On a side note, I couldn't feel my twig and berries.
That's a thing.
Yeah, it was awful.
Like I would tell you,
it was awful.
I used to bike back and forth to work in Grand Prairie, and there'd be times where like you'd be pedaling hard, and if you hadn't rode in a few days, kind of thing, you'd kind of start going a little bit numb, and it's concerning for a minute or two.
I tell you what, you're like you're shifting. You're like, what is going on? Stop it!
Yeah, and then you're like, are there times in my life that I can make this happen to work to my advantage so that I can't feel anything? But there's that too. But no, it's just that's kind of the thing. And I heard we got to get off and start laughing and do some more goofy shit. But one last serious thing, kind of thing here, whatever. I heard a quote from somebody. Now this was on the John Gormley show on 650 CKOM, and I listen to that guy all the time. He's just got kind of the same opinion of mine, and he brings on some good guests. and it's usually pretty good. I heard somebody come on there, and it was on Mother's Day, and it was good advice that you got from your mother. And one lady came on there, and I am stealing her quote, and I will steal it for the rest of my life, and I hope I meet her someday. If you're listening, please get in touch with me somehow. But she said her mom used to tell her, "It's just a bad day. It's not a bad life."
Isn't that the truth?
And if you can, like, I've gone my whole life not hearing that quote, and when I heard that quote, I was like, that's the best quote I've ever heard in my life. There's some doozies out there, you know what I mean? BMA's had some great ones, like make sure to shit outside of your pants and a few different things like that. Like, that's a good quote, you know what I mean? But when I heard this lady say that, yeah, I was like, that's just so good.
You know,
right?
it's not a talent, but I remember thinking, like, because everybody has a bad day.
Absolutely.
Like, everybody. And if you just recognize it for what it is, it's like, this is just a shitty day.
Yeah.
But not like it bring down your entire everything. The next day gets always better.
Yeah,
I always think of Castaway, Tom Hanks. You know? Sun's going to rise tomorrow, and maybe it's going to bring in a sail, right? And the sail takes him off of his deserted island, and of course it's a shitter. And, you know, right? Like it's the wall of a shitter.
Yeah, exactly.
Mom's yelling at me right now. You're swearing too much. But hey, sorry.
Yeah, my mom's here. She's on the other side of the glass, though, so she can't really hear it.
She can't really hear us, eh?
We're probably safe anyways, right? But yeah, I mean, kudos to you guys. And yeah, I mean, you're halfway there, and you got
the worst part coming.
The wind is.
I really like how you're like, I'll bike from Tuffnell to Foam Lake. And then we're going through Foam Lake, and all of a sudden there's Quick Dick. And he's biking from Foam Lake to Tuffnell. Because he knew, wait a second, I don't want to bike into the wind. And boom, you're on the other way. I'm like, I see what you're doing. That was smooth. That was a smooth little trickery there. Hey?
Honestly, it was my plan off the start, and that's why I was like, I'm not the kind of guy that power texts somebody because I just can't handle it. But like, I was like kind of power like texting you, where are you guys? Where are you guys? Where are you guys? Because I was literally on the tractor right up until I knew I couldn't be on the tractor anymore, and I was gonna miss you guys coming through here because you were making way better time than I thought you ever would.
Did you hear that, folks? He was power texting me.
Like, just it was bad.
Blowing up my phone, and then you know what happens? My phone dies, and I'm like, "Oh, that's really gonna piss him off."
Well, actually, then did you get the text after that? Why aren't you texting me, Sean? Where are you? Why won't you text me back? Do you hate me now, Sean? What have I done to me? No, I didn't do that. But.
No, but yeah, he did do it. Yeah, he did. Yeah, right. He didn't do it. Right.
But no, yeah. So it's gonna be a grind back for you guys, and
the cool thing about the way back is, even as bad as it's gonna be, every step is. If you think about a race, right? Here's the end. Here's the start. Here's the midpoint. Think of it like a hill. Even though the downhill isn't actually downhill, you're going to fight all the way down.
Yeah.
You're getting closer and closer every step you take. Where this way, no matter how fast we go, we're getting further and further away from home.
You know what? That's a great point, man. Did you notice the last little bit down into Tuffnell was very, very downhill?
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah, it's actually that's as big as hills get around here. It's just that.
You know what? I'll say this right now. I hate the minuscule hill. Give me a hill. You want me to climb that thing?
Because you know it's coming, right?
And then at least I get to go down. I get this all
of a sudden you're like, why is there rolling resistance here?
It was back by like Allen. Is Allen one of the?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It was like this long hill where this sprayer goes by me, goes flying by me, probably on only like honestly like 50, 60K.
Yeah,
something like that. And I'm watching him, and I'm on this hill. And for 5 minutes, he just keeps going up. And I'm like, I'm doing half the speed of him, and I can still see him. This is the most painful thing in the world. Welcome to Saskatchewan.
Welcome to Saskatchewan. Yeah, that's exactly it. Okay, speaking of farm equipment, did you guys see the combine on a stick?
No.
It's at Elstow. And it's by Combine World. And it's a combine that's up on a stand. You have to have seen it. Maybe it might have been your time for a break or whatever, but they've got a combine that's up on a huge stand.
See, I was going so fast, quick. Like, I didn't see anything.
It was a blur.
Yeah, everything was a blur.
Okay, well, pay attention on your way back. But
and where's the town?
All of Elstow.
Elstow.
Yeah, so it's
like... Oh, yeah. Like 20, 25K that way.
No, you're thinking of Elfrost.
Oh, God. This is Saskatchewan.
Welcome to Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
All the E-towns that are in between here or whatever. But yeah, so pay attention on the way back. But everybody calls it combine on a stick because it's a Massey Ferguson combine that's up on a huge stand. Yeah. And I don't know how they got it up there. I don't know how they'll ever get it down. But it's got to be a hazard to walk underneath at some point in time, I would imagine.
Father's Day's coming up.
Is it?
relative.
Happy Father's Day, BMA. I probably won't.
It isn't
get you
that.
anything.
It isn't that fast, but it is coming up. So if you haven't got anything for your father, I suggest you maybe take a look.
Makes sense.
What did Big Mustache Al think about this? Actually, if he stepped in here right now, I'd be like, "Sorry, quick, you got to get the hell out of here." But what did he think about this? Because I mean, like, I'll give my father's. He's like, "So you're doing what?" And I said, "Well, we're gonna bike from Lloyd through the night to Tuffnell and back.
Yeah.
Raise some money, sit and talk to Quick Dick McDick." First thing he says is, "Tell that Quick Dick, my hat is fucked." Sorry, Mom. He did not say fucked. He said,
sorry, Mom,
I don't know, dirty or something. Anyways, and he goes, "I could
You
use
just
a
hung
new
your
one."
dad out to dry.
Yeah, I know.
eh?
Sorry, Dad. Sorry. Anyways, he's like, "I could use a new hat." I'm like, yeah, all right, sounds good. And then he's like, "Why are you biking all through the night? Like, why not just like through the day?" I'm like, where's the fun in that, Dad? Where's the
man.
challenge in that?
I totally agree, and that's when you told me what you guys were doing, because when you're like, we're coming down there and then we're gonna turn around and come back. Remember my initial reaction? I was like, "Okay, well, I'll make sure that we got enough room, and you guys are gonna be able to have showers and this and that and da da da, and I'll have this many beds." And you're like, "Oh no, like we're podcasting," and then I'm turning around and going back. Like this is, and I was like, actually, that's pretty badass. You know what I mean? But like and I think it is. And there's a lot of stuff going on where people, go across Canada or walk here or do this and do that. And I think it's a great thing because, like, not to go back to the GoFundMe thing, but anybody can start up a GoFundMe page and be like, here's this story of this person. But to do something like what you guys are doing, it's not just, hey, we're going to use some online exposure and do this. No, we're going to do something while we do this. Kind of thing, right?
Well, I gotta say this. This isn't a plug for Bike for Breakfast. I just like to point this out
No,
because of the community that we live in. We did not announce Bike for Breakfast until May 1st. It is June 5th. 36 days. Nobody knew who Bike for Breakfast was.
Yeah.
36 days, $267,000.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
And I'm not tooting my own horn. That's the group out there. Like it's taken on a life of its own.
It's absolutely everything. And I mean, when there's people out there that say that, social media is garbage and it's bad and everything, I will agree there are parts of social media that are horrendously bad. But when you look at something like this,
it's good.
It's amazing because things like that can get traction. Things like Bike for Breakfast can get traction. I even put out a little video or whatever kind of thing, and all of a sudden I've got people even from my hometown and be like, "Hey, how do we donate to this?" or what goes on? That's the good part of social media, and a part that really pisses me off about social media is I did a video with a Shikimi Alabasi, a lady from Nigeria who works on a catfish farm.
Okay.
And I just put a little plug on my channel that's where it was going to be, and I recorded a whole bunch of stuff, sent it to her on a catfish farm in Nigeria. She found me through social media. And I've learned more about catfish farming since I stumbled onto this lovely lady than I ever figured I ever would have. But here's the thing I'll tell you that pisses me off about social media, and I'm glad that things like this are doing well and will continue to do well. And I know you will just continue to support things like this because it's what we need to do as good stewards of humankind, if that's what you want to call it. But why can I put out a tweet that kind of chirps a little bit about universal basic income with blistered hands, and it just explodes and goes crazy and everybody's all over it kind of thing? But when you share a link to a video about you collaborating with somebody to Nigeria and something that's very, very positive, it doesn't do that.
Taps into, well, I can't say that because both tap into emotion, but what your first one does is it taps into emotion.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And that is no different than what's going on with in the last year. We all can taste what fear tastes like, right?
Yeah.
Like that's very palpable.
Mm-hmm.
What you're talking about with the first one is the same thing.
Yeah.
Like it moves the needle.
Yeah.
The crazy thing with like good things is mind-boggling because isn't that what we all want?
Absolutely it is. Yeah.
And it's like there's so much good in the world, but it's almost like it just kind of gets lost in the noise. And I don't even know if I blame that on people. I almost blame that on the way the system's set up. And I don't know how the system's set up.
I blame it mostly on big tech and algorithms and
right,
how it
like
works,
push
right?
the good
yeah,
up.
Absolutely.
Stop fear mongering and anger and all that bull.
I couldn't agree more. But like, one of the things last time we talked, and I remember it stuck with me. But you kind of looked at me through Zoom, and you were like, you've kind of changed a little bit.
You have,
and I remember
you have, because
and,
you talked when I first started talking to you. I've said this lots actually. When I first started talking to you, it was a lot of very clever jokes towards Justin Trudeau, oil and gas. I mean, God, you had some good shit.
Yeah.
Like you just did. And the last time I talked to you, you were so much more balanced. Like calm. Like nothing stirred you. I'm like, who have you been talking to?
Yeah.
Like, because it's like you know something I don't, and you've changed your mind on things. And it really not bothered me. It really stirred a little curiosity in me.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
So like the thing with that is like I haven't changed much. I'm very much supportive of the oil and gas industry, and I always will be, because we are always going to need it around for a long time. You and I won't see the end of it, kind of thing, right?
Especially in this part of the world. Right?
Especially
Like,
in this part of the world. I can't stand Justin Trudeau, and I can't wait till the day that he's gone, and I unfortunately it's not going to come soon enough, but we're not going to talk about that because this is a positive podcast or whatever. But what I will tell you is the reason I switched gears a little bit is exactly what we're talking about, is because like I still want to be able to be funny, and for it to be okay for me to be funny, and try and push things in a little bit more positive of a light. But that being said, like I'm not going to forget where my roots come from and why a lot of people started following me off the start, and I still have a lot of that stuff in me, and I'm just going to keep putting it out a little bit at a time. When I did my last one, my little music video to Enbridge Line 5 or whatever, like that was kind of me
Mambo
saying,
number 5.
This was me saying, hey, no, I'm still here, you know what I mean? But I'm going to do some other stuff too.
It just doesn't fix, like, it's such a complex problem, quick.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you hate on it, or you do the, like, attack it. It's like, yeah, everybody gets it. It, like, makes sense, but it doesn't fix anything.
And that's the thing. Like, you
And
can beat
like,
a dead horse as much as you want, but it's not going to change
It's funny,
anything.
gets a ton of views, but
Yeah.
what do you do?
Yeah, which is, and honestly, I still need to figure, maybe you can help me with that. I got to figure out how many views or stuff I get. I don't know.
Fuck, I don't even, like, in the last little bit, I haven't even looked. Like, it's been sad, but it's been good and sad,
Yeah.
right? Like, I normally have this, like, routine of, like, recording numbers and making sure I pay attention and whatever. And in the last, like, 2 weeks, I've been so busy. It just was like, all of a sudden, like, I feel, whatever. It's not even a big deal.
Yeah, I hear you, man. And like it's kind of strange because usually I've been trying to keep uploads every Monday, and like this Monday, like I probably don't have anything just because we've just been slammed to a different level on the farm here in the last little bit, and I wanted to make some time to do this. That needs to be okay. You need to make time to be able to do some of this stuff, and I'm gonna try and put stuff out to people when I can get it out there. But with the whole change thing, I have changed a little bit. I want to be a little more responsible with what I do, but that doesn't mean I'm going to stop dropping F-bombs and cussing out Trudeau.
Here's the thing that I like about change is it shows a willingness to adapt and to move and to learn new things, right? You learn new things. Does that not change who you are?
Yeah.
And if you read things and and you never change, I'm not saying like we can't be friends. I'm just saying at the end of the day, I feel like if you learn new things, you should change.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? You should be like, yeah, actually, I read this and I read that and I did this and I just like that's cool.
Yeah,
I find it really cool.
Yeah.
It's just so very evident in the last episode. Like, what the hell is going on here? Like something's going on.
Yeah, it's been neat, and I think that's the thing is a lot of the stuff that I've done has led me down a lot of different paths. I've kind of noticed it in your podcast too, because it's kind of shifted gears a little bit, and you're getting different guests on that you probably wouldn't have had before and whatnot. And it's for the good and it's for the better, and I think it's fantastic. A lot of things with renewable energy and a few different things have taken me down some different paths where you talk to people that are like in the trenches of working with some of this stuff, and if you can get away from all the rhetoric of what's going on with climate alarmism and all that bullshit or whatever, there's actually people doing good work for sustainability in some of these places.
I don't want to spoil anything, but he's just what is he? PhD student? A guy I graduated with.
Yeah.
Threw me an email like a week ago saying, hey, could he come on in June and talk about climate change? all the research he's done. I'm like, are you kidding me? Yeah.
Absolutely.
And he's like, awesome. This is awesome. I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, you tell me. Like, you're the guy doing all the research. I'm interested.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what the podcast has done. It's opened up all these, like, lovely little doors.
That's right.
That would never be there. I would not be in Tuffnell, Saskatchewan if it was not for the podcast.
Cheers to that.
Yeah. Now, you have to let me know. What do your parents think of this? This is the... Like, if all of a sudden Quick Dick rolled into Hillmont, Saskatchewan,
Yeah.
and I rolled out the curtain. By the way, when I said we're going to Tuffnell, everyone went, where? It was the greatest marketing campaign in the world. I should get Where's Tuffnell shirts or something along that line.
Absolutely, yeah.
Number 2 was, when we get there, the ladies of Tuffnell are making us a meal. Oh my God, that's going to be good. And then I mentioned perogies, over the top.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all that out of the way. What do your parents think of this? Because I mean, like, this is a bit ridiculous. Like, we can try and sugarcoat this all we want. We just biked like 500 some K all through the night. We get here. I mean, the Great Western's flown. I'm
Right.
feeling great. But
It
like,
just, I
what are
can't.
your-
I can't wait to puke pierogies when I turn around and bike back to Foam Lake here. It's gonna be
Are
fantastic.
you biking back?
I will. That's where Morty is. Like I did. That's where I gotta go back to.
See,
man.
I was shitting on him for where he is. He's gonna bike back.
Oh no,
Okay.
I'm coming back.
All right.
I don't say whoa in a tight spot.
What do your parents think of this?
You know what? I'm gonna say I listened to the podcast you had with your mom
Yeah.
when you did the Mother's
Yep.
Day thing, which was great, by the way. And I think our parents are just kind of cool with what it is. I think we're probably a similar story, where off the start my parents were like, "What the hell is this?" But when you see the fact that it starts doing a little bit of good and some people can laugh and find some happiness with it, and then you see a situation like this going on, it's slowly gone from, well, kind of what are you posting, and that's kind of goofy or whatever, and then there's some hard talks about, well, is this going to lead to anything productive or good, or are you just going to keep cussing out Trudeau or whatever kind of thing or whatever. But I think if you
keep
I will. Yeah, he makes it so easy, but we won't talk about him on this podcast. But they're cool with it, and I think the fact that like, you know, Mom's here helping out Marilyn and the ladies in the kitchen here, and you know, BMA before the schedule changed, he was gonna have beer iced here and ready to go or whatnot.
I gotta meet. Hey, so people know, the next time I sit down, it ain't with Quick Dick.
Thank goodness.
It's with
Big
the big
mustache
guy.
Al.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's with the big
The
guy.
man's amazing. Yeah.
Done.
Absolutely.
Done.
Yeah.
I'm
And-
not biking back to do that though. I'm gonna either dry or fly
or
a
a
plane.
motorcycle at least.
God,
Something
anything
internal combustion.
But, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
But it's been cool, and you know, with Mom and I, it's been fun because we run this little joke about nobody really knows who she is kind of thing, and she's ashamed of me in my videos, which is kind of really not the case, but it's a joke we play off of. And you know, with Dad, I mean, he's just it gives us a good opportunity to have some fun together. And we really do have fun when we go out and, like, we're cutting wood or doing our different stuff. We'll, like, film a video, and like, had you looked at this situation, you know, 10, 15 years ago, you look at it and I'd laugh and be like, Dad would never do something like that. But it kind of it's taken both of them a little bit outside of their comfort zone too, and that's been a good thing, you know.
Well, I'm excited for Father's Day because, like my mother, I've read articles about people who've lost their parents, and I'm like, Dad dodged me a year ago. He ain't dodging me this year. He's coming on.
Yeah, there's no fucking around,
No,
Dad. You're
like
on.
you're
Yeah.
on, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, and that's another good point that you bring up is there's a lot of people that don't have their parents in the world. I was lucky enough up until, you know, just the last few years, I had all four of my grandparents right until I was in my mid 30s. So I was very lucky, and I was lucky enough to learn early enough in life to not take advantage of that or to take it for granted. And here we are. I still got two grandparents, and I've got both my parents, and I've got all my siblings still. And you need to be able to look at that in life and consider yourself very lucky, because some people don't have that. And I treasure that, and that means more to me more than a YouTube channel or a job or anything ever will. And I hope everyone else there would see it in the same light, because family is very important, right?
Utmost important.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I just it's really cool that we're kind of here in the Tuffnell rink, because I spent a lot of my time as a kid, like, right here in this magnificent place with ice in it, of course, except when Tuffnell Sports Day comes back this August, this will be beer gardens here if it's shitty outside.
I don't know, man. Like, if I went back to the first day I started the podcast, and you told me, listen, Sean, when you get like 3 years into this, you're going to ride a bike all through the night. And I'm like, oh, all right, where are we going? Tuffnell SK. Where?
Yeah. Listen,
Right?
take your nostalgia and
But you take all that, and then you sit here, and I'm like, this might be the coolest place I ever podcast, ever.
It really is, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
like
hope
this-
it's. I hope
this
it
is
holds that
special.
record.
Yeah.
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 And yeah, we set this up. People don't know it, but like that's actually the camera's on a curling rock on a garbage can right now.
You're not supposed to say that.
No, I have to.
I brought stuff. It's just on a bus that is traveling the opposite way of here right now.
And this is how
by
we do,
a tow
this is how
truck.
we do most of our stuff, right? So no, it's all good. Oh man, we've got locals in here waving now. This is good. We've got a crowd
This is
here,
great.
man.
Now, here's your final question.
All right.
Right? Then we'll
Yeah.
get to the shindig, the pierogies, to everything.
Yeah, if everybody knows, Sean's been up for how many hours now? Way too many. And
Well, I don't even know what
hasn't-
time it is right
and needs
now.
pierogies and kubasa. So,
That's right.
Yeah.
How many hours do you think it's going to take us round trip to get back to Lloyd? Now, to preface this, 48 hours is 24 hours here, 24 hours home. Where do you think we're at?
So you guys did good on the way here. So you were here, and I mean we took a little bit of a break, but we're gonna call it. You guys were here at 2:00, right?
Yeah, but we're gonna tack on the hour of doing this.
Yeah,
so
absolutely, yeah.
Time just don't stop running.
So you guys were here at 2. I was expecting you to be at least 24. So you're about 21, and I think it's gonna be a hard push into that win back home. But hopefully you guys don't have any breakdowns or anything to deal with, and you got a couple of
Well, we
extra.
got those all out of the way on the way here.
Never say you got them all out of the way. But
It can always get worse.
You're
folks.
gonna have
That's
a couple
true.
extras pushing for you. Hopefully, you guys can use the POS to cut a little bit of wind for you there. And
I gotta wait. I gotta give before you give your answer.
you
I
gotta do it. He
I gotta
needs it.
I gotta give a shout out
Yeah.
to. So we have a bus breakdown at 4 a.m. Right? Like the bus we're
Opportune
on.
time. Yep.
Boom, done. Right? So what ends up happening? Think about this. The owner of Arby's in Lloyd is on Instagram at 4:30 a.m. The guy I'm riding beside, the coach of the junior team, messaged him. Said, "Hey, would you be willing to do this?" "Yeah, for sure. Where I gotta go?" Boom. He's there, grabs it, starts driving the sucker, grabs his bike. Now he's biking with us. Owner Arby's has driven us the POS
Yeah.
here, and now he's biking with us on the way back.
Yeah.
And we, as we sit here, there's a motorhome on its way too.
Yeah.
Right? Like the bat signal, so to speak, went up, and Lloyd and area answered. Boom,
Yeah.
here we are.
Here's-
So now, how many hours? How many hours?
Here's what I will say: is anybody that says that horsey sauce doesn't turn you into somebody hasn't had horsey sauce from
I can't
Arby's,
wait to
right?
have some horsey sauce. Turn myself into Bruce Wayne.
Actually,
I'm
there's
gonna
good
be a
mushroom
gentleman.
sauce here too, so that's good. But I'm gonna pay you. As you guys were 20, you guys were 21 down here with a wind in your favor. I'm gonna say you guys are gonna be 20. I'm gonna say you're gonna be 27 back.
Okay.
And
So
that,
that's
that
so
might be
48
high,
on the button.
but that is a hard push back up there. I'm gonna call 48 on the button. Yeah.
Well, we might.
Is this like one of those ones where you pick the square on the card where the chicken's gonna shit, or when the car is gonna drop through
Who
the
else
dugout?
picked
or?
48 hours? Who else do you think?
Oh,
picked
I don't know. I don't know. There was somebody else picked 48 hours.
He's a good-looking man. He,
So not you.
He drinks Great Western. He's got a dashing smile.
Did you pick 48?
I picked 48.
Ah,
There you go, folks. Quick, send him off because it ain't my podcast this time. I'm sitting in the Tuffnell
do I
rink.
put this on my channel, or do you put
I
this
don't
on
know,
your
I don't
channel,
know.
or how does this work? This has been great. Hey, on behalf of the Tuffnell Rec Board, it was great to have you guys here. Thanks for coming to
No,
Tuffnell.
thanks for having us here. Honestly,
Thanks for picking Tuffnell. They've got a $1,500 donation waiting for you guys for your cause. I've got a $1,000 Rob Stone Rainmaker donation for you guys too, to send you guys back on your way after you get a belly full of pierogies and keep doing this awesome stuff.
If anyone wants to see what a belly full of pierogies looks like,
Just look about halfway between Tuffnell and
I don't
Foam
mean
Lake.
to
It'll
make a
be
joke.
on the.
Like, that's awesome. Thank you so much for supporting the cause. But I mean, a belly full of pierogies, folks. Like, that's gonna hurt. Like, nobody's eating that going like, this ain't gonna hurt. I'm gonna push through that. Like,
Yeah.
you're gonna, yeah. Anyways.
It's gonna suck, but that's all right. It's a good kind of hurt, right?
Yeah. Well, thanks again for having us and everything else. I mean, the money is like, that's over the moon, man.
Thank you guys for coming, and thanks for doing what you've done. And more people need to keep doing this kind of stuff. It's the stuff I like getting behind and supporting, and this has just been awesome. Thanks for coming to the Tuffnell curling rink to do a podcast.
Fucking, this is the best. Like, I might make this my home, right? Like,
well, I mean, the gravel might be uncomfortable, but you get used to it after a while.
Living in the house?
Does that mean we
I
can
don't know.
employ you to keep raccoons out of here?
yeah, absolutely, right?
Okay, well, let's go get some pierogies, and let's get you guys pedaling back towards Lloyd, man.
Yeah, man.
Awesome. This has been great.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sean.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, man.
Hey, folks, thanks for joining us today. If you just stumbled on the show, please click subscribe. Then scroll to the bottom and rate and leave a review. I promise it helps. Remember, every Monday and Wednesday, we will have a new guest sitting down to share their story. The Sean Newman Podcast is available for free on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and wherever else you get your podcast fix. Until next time.